Canadian who shares name, occupation with Trump supporter who stormed U.S. Capitol harassed online.
Here's a summary of the article.
Toronto, Ontario real estate agent Jenna Ryan has never received a bad review in her career. At least until another agent by the same name stormed the U.S. Capitol this month. That Jenna Ryan, who even bears a resemblance to the Canadian Jenna Ryan, reportedly flew on a private jet from Frisco to join the march in Washington. On Friday, federal authorities in Dallas arrested and charged the American Jenna Ryan for disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds and knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building without lawful authority, according to reports. For the Canadian Jenna Ryan, who lives in the northern Ontario city of Sudbury, that Jenna Ryan's decision on January 6 has made for a chaotic start to her 2021, more than 1,100 kilometers away from the U.S. Capitol building. When the American Jenna Ryan's identity was revealed, the Canadian Jenna Ryan started getting inundated with messages. Almost more alarming than the messages of hate were the messages of support, some even calling her a patriot, believing her to be the American Jenna Ryan.
This post received a score of 7,200, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
This happened to a guy the first played blackjack with back in 2001 right after 9/11. He was Middle Eastern and had the same name as a top FBI most wanted. He traveled a lot for work and ended up having to carry a letter from the State Department that no, he was in fact not wanted by the FBI for 9/11.
You know Osama knew.
With the way they disposed of his body and everything, I'm shocked there's never been any Osamas alive. Conspiracy theories. Or none that have come to prominence, at any rate.
Oh, there is. Not many, but my Trump-supporting roommate told me a couple months ago that it was suspicious that they disposed of his body the way they did instead of putting it up for display. Told him it was horrible to display a body, and that the way they disposed of the body was so his followers couldn't retrieve it. But you know, Obama was Seuss too.
How did they dispose of the body?
Kicked it over the side of the boat at sea.
I mean, that was a pretty weird decision. Or as somebody unfamiliar with assassination procedures, it seems unusual as an impression. Not that I think he's alive, but I don't get why they didn't bring back his remains to the States, or something. Like issues aside with doing other things with his body, what about dumping it in the sea was considered ideal?
They didn't want to create a martyr site for extremists to pilgrimage. So they used Islam to give a religiously permitted last rites and burial at sea. To reduce religious outrage that would come from desecrating the body.
This is correct.
Some online article published a statement by a guy who also admitted to storming the U.S. Capitol. He just happened to have the same name, live in the same state, and have a similar job title. My boss was the first person to come up on a Google search if you tried to find the guy who made that statement. We got calls to our office and corporate all day, emails and LinkedIn messages, calling for him to be fired and reported to the FBI. We had to post disclaimers on our company website and eventually my boss had to contact the author of the article to issue a redaction so it wouldn't happen anymore.
What the fuck kind of person finds a random person on the internet and calls up their job to be fired? Holy shit, those people are insane. Twitter, it's a wild place.
People who are unproductive and powerless, to make themselves feel powerful and productive at something. And to all the people going, Twitter figured out who this is, why hasn't the FBI done anything yet? This is exactly why.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.